What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back for a new video, talking today about the Mercurial Georginio Rutter, his form, and a very big call. Would you drop him for the semi-final second leg at Elland Road? It's a big call. Also want to clear up a little quote that was attributed to Farke in regards to Illan Meslier. I'm going to clear it up on this stream because people were DMing me saying, I think he's lost the plot even more. And even I looked at the headline and thought, nah, he never said what I thought he said. And he didn't. So we'll get into that as well. Yeah, listen, thank you to Mr. P for a super thanks on the last video. You know the drill, people, in regards to the content. Yeah, big up to everyone in the chat and everyone that will be watching the replay. If you haven't already, slap a like on the video, and that's it really. I do want to just say something that I was watching last night in the Villa Liverpool game, and to see Villa being literally 1 point away from the Champions League, I couldn't help but think about us. And there's that arrogance of Leeds fans. Oh, it's always about them. But more to the point of thinking, we were literally neck and neck and very similar in terms of, I would say, club size and ambitions and everything else like that. Histories of the club. Maybe Villa have got a bit more on Leeds, fair. But at the time where they got promoted, they just kicked on and kicked on. And when you look at where we are now, hopefully we can get back into the Premier League. But when you think about Villa, and I just think of all the little moves they made along the way, nothing major. Not even thinking about, I mean, they even had to get rid of Jack Grealish. You know, they promised him a big move. Man City came in, got him 100 million. Cool. I'm thinking about all the little moves that they made at the times to make themselves incrementally better. I'm talking like the Dendoncker sign from Wolves for 11 million. I remember at the time thinking, we're desperate for a midfielder. How have we not just gone in for Dendoncker at 11 mil? Instead, we were persisting with Click, Forshaw, Lewis Bate in reserve. And you just look at the way Villa have built, and you can't help but think, how did we get it so wrong? And listen, fair play to them. They got themselves a top-class manager. I love Emery. Emery is a top, coach. And, some would say that we had a chance to get him at the time before the World Cup started and we missed out. And it just shows you just how many bad decisions this club's made over time. But yeah, listen, it was just something that was going through mine. Again, Villa are very ruthless as well. You've seen it with Danny Ings, very low. They got him for 20 million. No one heard anything about it. They just announced it. Hasn't worked. They moved him on. Left backs, they've gone through left backs, hasn't worked, and they move them on. That's what Villa do. That's what progressive clubs do. Whereas Leeds, we like to just keep a player, no matter how bad or average they are, go to Firpo, Bamford, Meslier now, and we just keep hold of them until they're worthless. Click, didn't get no transfer fee for him. Didn't get a transfer fee for Luke Ayling. None of these players got transfer fees. And that's the difference between, one of the many differences between the two clubs. So you listen, shout out to Villa, man. Shout out to Villa. Yeah. Matt C, yeah, proper management ownership. We've had clowns in charge. And hopefully under the 49ers, things will be better. And I think we've already seen through the Willie Nonto drama of last summer that they're going to operate a little bit differently than the previous ownership. It just sucks. And it doesn't, but listen. Hopefully our day in the sun will come again and we could talk about new Champions League semi-finalists at some point. But until then, we've got a playoff semi-final to talk about. An afternoon to everyone else and everything. And Gavin here, again, people going back to money. We've spent money as well, Gavin. We didn't just get Brendan Aronson for free. We didn't get Georginio Rutter for free. We didn't get Dan James for free. Firpo was 15. We've spent money too. It's about the quality of recruitment. But listen, I wanted to speak about Georginio Rutter, and there's been a visible drop-off in his production. Yeah. And I think that's been plain to see. But LUFC data, as he does, he backs up things with numbers. Now you can't see the graph, but he's kind of, put the summary in words. So I'll give you this. Looked into Georginio Rutter's pre and post minor hernia surgery in March and found a sharp drop off in his attacking output. He's yet to score, assist, or create a single big chance since the procedure. He ranks second in the championship for big chances, 22 of them beforehand. And he just continues here. He's distinctly failed the eye test for successful on-board actions in recent weeks. That is true. His pressing off the ball remains an asset, but his attacking output has dropped substantially more than he'd feared. Fewer touches, take-ons, and chance creation in general since March. And listen, that is everything I've been saying with Georginio. But there's a graph. You can't see the graph on the screen, but if you want to go to OUFC Data's Twitter, he's got the full graph there, and it will be there, and I'm sure it will be on his website too. And that's just the thing with Georgie, man. We know how good he's been. In people, that have are taking the full season into context. He's been super for us. If it wasn't for him and Somerville, we'd be nowhere near the top six, nowhere near it. Those two have been instrumental in our successes this season. But as we've seen the drop off, and it has been visible with Georgie, we're seeing him more now be a bit more tentative than before. He's not lost the flair. We saw him down the corner flag at our own end, putting it through someone's legs. So he's still got that. But you can see that his game isn't as fluid as it was previously before the operation. And it just makes you think, doesn't it? If we're going to get that Georginio again, which, you never know, are we going to get that in the second leg? Who knows? The game hasn't been played. But if we are to get that one again, would it be better to start him from the bench and make him come on for the last half an hour? I'll put that to you guys. Yeah, Gavin here. Rutter was playing after 10 days. Farke at fault. Clearly needed at least 2 more weeks rest after a hernia up. Yeah, it's so weird. I know they say it's a minor procedure, but hernia is a killer. You know what I mean? And I just think that he could have done with more time. Matt C, though, saying you can't drop him, no maverick factor. Nobody else can offer it. That is true. Even if he's having a bad day, you can always create something out of the blue, keep him in. And that's where I've been, Matt C. You've been here, Matt C. When people have been saying Georginio was horrible in this game, but then he'll end up with an assist or a goal, more likely an assist with Georgie's finishing. But alas, I say to him, look, he will stink. He could stink 60 minutes of the game, 70 minutes, lose the ball constantly. But it's going to be that one moment where these players at this level can't handle him, and he will create something to put somebody through. And that's what I would say. But as LUFC data says there, and as I've said on here on Match Reactions, that isn't happening anymore. It hasn't happened since the international break, since the end of it. He's gone very, very quiet. And listen, pressing off the ball, that I'll leave that to all you cardio nuts. I don't care about that. He's more effective as a creator. That's his job. He's a playmaker, and we're not getting that from him. One solution I've got is that if he's going to start, I would just interchange him with Nanto and put Nanto as the focal point up front and leave that, because we're obviously not going to see Mateo Joseph. So let's not waste our breath with that one. But if he wants to continue playing him, I think he'll probably get less, beaten as well, because we're seeing him through the middle. He's getting clattered like no man's business. Not saying he's not going to get reduced on the sideline, but it's going to be less intense on the wing. And we know he can play right wing. So Nanto for me as well is more of a shooter. Is definitely more of a shooter than Georgie. So if you want to start him in the next game, put him on the right, Nanto down the middle. That could be a solution. Paul here saying, think we best drop him, bring him on fresh, put Nanto in the tent and James on the wing. Yeah, it depends as well, Paul. You're right. Dan James could be more fit. But again, Dan James, we're talking about people that have had brilliant seasons overall, and Dan James has been that, as many of you keep on telling me. I was right. Thank you for that. But him after the international break, maybe the Wales penalty miss is playing a part of it. Maybe it's injury too. But he hasn't been the same. I know he got a goal from the other halfway line. But apart from that, it's been meh from Dan James, not like the production that he was putting in before that break. But yeah, if he's fitter, that could be another option. And we shall see. Maybe the press conference will be tomorrow, so we'll probably get more team news then. Matthew here saying, I say keep him in, even just the energy he brings. Yes, he hasn't been 100%. Is huge for the squad. Plus, at this point, Farke won't change him out, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's always no, there isn't a chance, is there, Matthew? You're right. He probably won't change him. I'm just trying to find different solutions, because through the middle thing, it doesn't work. First of all, he's not a striker. He has not got the striker's instinct in him. That's not his game. It's being a creative force. It's about taking players out the game, bringing other players in. That is more of his game. And I just feel that maybe moving him to the wing could be one. But yeah, he does bring an energy to the team. And listen, I don't care about smiles per 90 or nothing, but he's not smiling no more. And you can see he's not enjoying it. And I don't think he's enjoying it just for the form. He's probably disappointed in his performances too, but probably because he knows he can't do as much as he was doing before. I do think that has a factor. Yeah, I mean that's fair, Leeds FC. No one has been the same since the international break. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, we don't know about Sargent. I guess we'll hear about some team news from Nargent, from Norwich, Nargent, in the next cup in tomorrow. I hope. Matt C saying Rutter at 9 just doesn't work. Maybe fluid position interchange with Nanto could be the solution. Just don't put Perot back in anymore. Seen enough of that now. Yeah, listen. All the comments I get about Perot are not good. Like I say though, I think he will probably move on in the summer. I think it's probably best for all parties. Pretty much once you lose, I mean, you saw how much it took Nanto to get back in the good graces, and even a lot of Leeds fans still haven't forgiven him for last summer. But once you lose that, it's pretty hard to get back with this fan base. And I don't. I just feel like Peru. He'll probably. You know what? He'll probably go to another club next season and go get back to his 20 goals things again. It's just not going to happen here. But yeah, I hear that in terms of Peru. Yeah. Um, Yeah, Matthew, just continuing. I completely agree. It's hard to see him not being his usual self. He played on the wing in Germany, right? Could be a great change. Yeah, he played off the right for Hoffenheim a lot of the time. And if people remember when they were checking out the YouTube highlights, that's where a lot of his best work was done. It was taking players out on that wing, cutting inside, and on the few occasions he got goals, he'd whip them in far corner. He'd do that a lot, but through the middle just does not work for me. And we know that there has to be tactical changes for this game. Farke did well in this one to change it, make us more resolute, better, harder to beat. But you can't do that in the return leg. The thing is with Farke, you do get worried with him that because it works so well in the first leg, he'll just run that play back in the second. It's going to be a different game. Atmosphere is going to be very different. Both teams will be playing differently as well. You could see both teams, even in the West Brom Southampton to a certain extent, everyone just did not want to lose. And I just feel we've seen it in second legs through history, never mind ones we've been involved in. The game is just different. And if we're going to do 4-3-3 again, I would, like I say, I personally would put Joseph up top just for a bit of variety and leave Somerville Nonto on the wings, bring Georgino on later in the game. But if he's going to do the same thing again, swap the two around, give us more of a focal point up front, which Nanto can definitely give you. Michael here saying if we hold Rutter and James on the bench, it gives them a problem and options to bring on later. I mean, that's frightening, isn't it? It's definitely frightening to think of those two coming off the bench to make a difference to the team, 100%. And it just depends on their fitness. Obviously, Dan James is still working his way back to full fitness after the oblique tear, so we don't know even if he can finish 90 minutes at this point. Let's have a look here. Dillip here saying if we had a decent number 9, we do. He just doesn't get used. But alas, we would probably have got an automatic promotion. It's been far too long. We've had to rely on other players. Other players. What you mean in the team? Well, yeah, but again, that's down to the managers talking, and like I say, we'll managers' decisions, and we'll talk about that at the end of the season for sure. A random guy here saying Roberts back in for the attacking phases. Yeah, again, Connor Roberts. There are changes that can be made for this game that will keep us compact, but a little bit more dangerous going forward. And Connor Roberts at this level, especially, is one of those things. But again, we don't know how fit he is. He's just come back from injury too. So, but yeah, Connor Roberts at right back. Someone else said Sam Byram at left back. I would do that, but again, we've seen Farke. I think he trusts Junior Firpo, which is very scary to say. But yeah, there are so many changes we can do, so many changes. And look, I just want to say this as well. Um, I don't know why the club do this kind of prop. It maybe it does something for some people. It doesn't do nothing for me. 99 pass completion. And this is Ethan Ampadu. And please, but by the way, I love Georginio Rutter. He's been one of the best players this season. Want to make that very clear. I'm just talking about his recent form. Love Ethan Ampadu. But when you're putting out maps like this, okay, this is the pass map. I'm 25 yards out, people. I can see little arrows. Look at this. What propaganda does this put out? Except for that he passes well to the side and to the middle and back again. It doesn't do. I don't know why they've put that out. Seriously, pick and choose when you're putting out certain prop. That does nothing for Ethan Ampadu. But what it does say, exactly, yeah. What it does say in terms of Ethan is that when he gets on the ball, he is one of our more dangerous players in the midfield of what we've currently got. And again, we know that we're not going to see Charlie Creswell. We know it. Liam Cooper is not an option. He's just not. No, if you, like I said to you before, go back to the Watford game and go and see that disaster class before you even think about saying Liam Cooper's name as a starter. But what you could do is move Ampadu back into midfield, give you a little bit more range, because as he moves up, I'm sure the range of passing will be better if he's allowed to do that from the manager. And then put Charlie Creswell back there. But again, Charlie Creswell is cold. He's literally not match fit. So it's a tough call to now say, all right, second leg of the playoff final, Charlie come in. But in all fairness to Farke, well, not fairness, but give him credit for the last one. It took 46 games, but he finally changed the formation and tactical style. It only took the season ended and the playoff starting for him to do so. So you never know. It's probably not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Creswell not used at all this season. It's been terrible. Signed a new deal at the start of the season. I think people forget. He signed a new deal at the start of the season, took the number 5 shirt, or yeah, whichever one. Yeah, he's number 5, isn't he? And it's like, we've done nothing with him at this level, championship. So it just goes to me, if we're not going to use him at this level, when are we going to use him? And as Matthew here says, same issue with Joseph, sadly. Yeah. Allison, Meslier in a penalty situation. Well, let me move on to that, Allison, because that's segue king here. Because I got some messages on IG, man, and people, because it's like someone said with Bamford, I don't like being linked with these kind of players. Please don't link me with these players. But it's because I'm not opposed, but I want better for my football club. But Beren's article here, he put out in the tweet, Mellier's distribution left a lot to be desired yesterday, but Farke has called him world class after keeping a precious clean sheet. Now, of course, you read that, you think, he called him what? He called him what exactly? What did he say? No, no, no. But me, I like to dig in. So I dived in, and that is not the quote that he said. But obviously, for clicks, for engagement, that is going to get the engagement up because it gets the Meslier fans saying, "See, focus, he's world class," and it gets the people that don't want Meslier here to go, "He's not world class." So it just builds the engagement up. I get the game, but what he actually said, and I'll quote Danny Farke here: when a goalkeeper returns back with a clean sheet into the dressing room, for me, it's always world class because this is his main task. So what Farke was saying essentially is that the most important thing for a goalkeeper is to keep a clean sheet. And that's it. He never called Illan Meslier world class. Otherwise, we would have to, check him out, get him seen to by a doctor because that would be crazy. He said we're always speaking to use the because he likes to use the goalkeeper in the build up a lot. But the main task is to make sure we are there with many clean sheets. And he did end a few decisions on the ball could have been a bit better today. At least that was my feeling. But it's also the same. We had games where we conceded a bit, and I've got no issue with that because he's absolutely correct. And that was my point in regards to Meslier in terms of and the team in general, because we came off a stinking run off the back of the season, losing 4-0 at QPR, and then the whole that whatever that was against Southampton, where they were driving trucks through our midfield, we were completely off the boil, completely off it. And that's what I feel that game Norwich against Norwich has done. It's just giving people the confidence that we can keep a game tight, and we even look like the more likely to win towards the end. It's just that we didn't have enough potency up front, you know. We just didn't have enough. Um, yeah, Michael, that clean sheet was down to the midfield and defenders. Meslier did his best to gift them a goal. I hear it. I hear it. But in regards to that, I just wanted to clear that up because a couple of people were a little bit like with Farke, because I know a few of you have already checked out with Danny Farke. Again, we'll speak about that come the end of the season. But yeah, I'm completely with that. And I've seen links and everything else in regards to goalkeepers. Like I say, I already put out the one about Johansson from Rotherham. If we're to stay in this division at 1 million, and then you sell Meslier because look, I don't know how much we get for Meslier these days, but I would like to think whatever we get for him, we can put back into the outfield of the team after spending 1 million on Johansson from Rotherham. That's if we stay in this division. People need to make that clear because I've got other targets in mind if we're in the Premier League, some real targets. But yeah, 100%. As I've said, either way, he's got to go. He's got to go. I've just seen somebody. Jalen, I was going to mention this. I was talking about Villa earlier. I was going to mention this. I put up a quote by Martinez in a couple of videos ago, didn't I? And I was just saying, I'm singing his praises because overall he's been brilliant. He's been, the game yesterday, and then he goes and puts in an own goal. It's almost like the commentator's curse kind of thing. Well, I bigged him up, and then he let in a softie, probably two softies in all fairness. But there's no doubt in Martinez is a top goalkeeper. But yeah, just off the back of me bigging him up like that to then just drop one in yourself, it's like, oh, bro, go and check his bank account because I think that might have been a little sweetener. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Um, yeah, he did have a stink. I know. It's crazy. It's great. It can happen, though. It can happen. But yeah, listen, that's it in regards to Meslier and just things like that. Want to just quickly go back onto this because LUFC data, and I think it was LUFC Histories. Is LUFC Histories the one that actually puts out video to the games that he's talking about? Yeah, I mean, this just brought back some good memories. On this day in 2001, there's video below, so I can't put the video on. Leeds recorded, in fact, 6-1 Premier League derby win over Bradford City at Elland Road. Remember that game so clearly. I remember that period of time so clearly, and just the team that we had then, amazing. Go and look at the goals. There's one by a very special player that people try and Chris Benoit's name out of the history of Leeds United, but the skills that boy had, bro, he was cold. Q was cold, man. And his goal he's got so many highlight goals for this club. And because he's been Chris Benoit at the football club, they're kind of all forgotten. Even I kind of forgot the little skill he did before he slid it in against Bradford. But yeah, it was just class. The 6-1 win against Bradford. Love those times, man. Love those times. People talking about Klaassen. Is Klaassen clear to play? I don't know if he's clear to play. I know he had a little car ding the other week. Maybe he'll be okay to play. But again, you're asking a lot, aren't you? You're asking Daniel Farke, who's praised Meslier, to then just drop him for a second leg after a clean sheet, no matter how he got it, to bring in class. And I just don't see that happening, people. That goal was sensational, absolutely sensational. One of the best. Listen, don't make me start. James, say OV ho, OV. I say OV ho, OV. That song is everywhere, man. I love it. It's absolutely everywhere. And stamp that way, stamp this way. Yeah. But yeah, so listen, people, that is it. That is it for the video. Just want to get your thoughts. Put them in the comments below. What you do with Georginio? Would you keep him? Would you start him? Would you keep him in the central? Would you put him to the wing? Have another central option? Is he too important to the team overall to drop? I hear all sides of that one. Absolutely. I will be back tomorrow for the preview of to say a huge game is a bit of an understatement, isn't it? It's a absolutely massive, humongous game against Norwich City come Thursday. And yeah, listen, people, I will see you in the next video, people. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, I hope you're good. Hope you're feeling good and smelling good. Peace out.